welcome to Big Bore Knife and Gear. Today we're going to talk about Rough Ryder knives. This is the newest iteration. This is the Rough Ryder Reserve line. There is currently 3 models available. We're going to go over all 3 of them here. Before we get into that, packaging that it comes in. Nice box. Comes in this great metal tube. Tube is got foam top and bottom. The knife does come wrapped in some wax paper, and then that is wrapped inside of a nice microfiber cloth. There you go. Let's get this off the table and talk about these knives. So we've got the Rough Ryder Reserve number 1, number 2, and number 3. All 3 of these knives come in D2 blade steel. All 3 of them have a micarta handle scale. We've got a blue denim micarta on the number 1. We've got a tan canvas micarta on the number 2, and a black canvas micarta on the number 3. The first model, the number 1, is what they call an easy open razor. The second one is their version of a canoe, which they're calling a kayak. And the third one is their version of a whittler. Let's flip these around and take a look. On this razor, beautiful design, easy open. This is designed for one-hand opening. If you can imagine, if this is in your pocket, when you pull it out, you can actually use this like a wave feature, catch the corner of your pocket, and it can open right up for you. Beautiful swedge. Very interesting, very cool little knife. Second one is their version of a canoe. They're calling this the kayak. This one is kind of unique as it has 2 tanto or reverse tanto style blades on it. Each one featuring a match strike nail nick. Half stops on all 3 of these. And then the third is what they're calling the swelled whittler. This one is a 3 blade. The main blade does have a nice spear point style almost main blade, and then 2 smaller pen style blades. Now, what I was most intrigued about on this Reserve line, I haven't been real big into traditionals, but I do own some. I have 3 or 4 Rough Ryders, which I love, but they're the basic standard model Rough Ryders, so they go anywhere from $8 to $20. Then I've handled some GEC, some Great Eastern Cutlery, and that is the, I don't know if I should say it like this, but to me it is the Ferrari of the traditional knife world. The fit and finish and execution on it, every GEC I've put in my hand has just been outstanding and phenomenal. Granted, they do go for $100 plus depending on the model, but they are just superb. What piqued my interest on this is Rough Ryder's, this is them breaking into a better quality traditional knife. So while most Rough Ryder knives will range anywhere from $8 or $10 to $20, these are higher end. So the number 1 is $40, the number 2 is $50, the number 3 is $60. So let's just take a look. Fit and finish on these guys, spectacular. Absolutely amazing. If we can get this to focus. Centering is perfect. No gaps, no voids or gouges in the micarta at all. The nickel silver shield pins and bolsters are just beautiful. The brass lanyard tube, everything is just fantastic. absolutely gorgeous. Let's move on to the number 2. Everything is flush. Again, no gaps, no issues. Transition between bolster and scale. The shield, the pins, everything is flush and beautiful. Centering, if you can see, on point. The number 3. Number 3 is the only one with any sort of flaw on it. Fit and finish on the scales, pins, transitions, outstanding. The only flaw, if we can get this to catch and focus in here, is the slightest of gap right at the end of this liner and lock spring. You can barely notice it, but that is the only flaw I found on any of these knives. Now, in comparison, here's a few of my standard Rough Riders. So we can see, even though for a $12 or $10, $12, $14 knife, they are fantastic. But as you can see, there's gapping. You can totally feel the transitions between the bolster and scale. The pins don't sit totally flush. I mean, look at that pin. But for a $12 knife, they do an outstanding job. Again, some gapping issue on this beautiful toothpick. One of the pins stands proud, the other ones are done great. Here's a Camp King from Rough Ryder. If you can see the gapping on the springs, between the liners, the pins don't sit too flush. But again, $12, $14, who really cares, right? It's fantastic for that price. I was very skeptical about getting these in hand because I've been spoiled now by GEC. And I gotta tell you, this is outstanding. Rough Ryder knocked these out of the park. They are absolutely beautiful, completely functional. This razor, stupid crazy sharp. This Kayak is just outstanding. I totally dig the dual reverse Tonto blades on there. Just an outstanding job. If this is the direction that Rough Ryder's going in with their reserve line, I cannot wait to see what else is coming out. The fit and finish on these are pretty much on par with the GECs. Pretty much. GEC still takes the cake. But for a knife that's a third to a half the price of a GEC, and the fit and finish on these are just outstanding. You really just can't go wrong. Absolutely beautiful. These are on loan, by the way, from my buddy Rusty. Gorgeous. I'll tell you what, I'm getting spoiled on these traditionals. Typically not my thing, but man, I think I've handled and played with more traditionals in the last 2 months of my life than I have the last 30 years of my life. Just outstanding. Anyhow, it's just a kind of a short little 8 or 9 minute video to go over these beautiful Rough Ryder reserves. Again, the number 1, which is the Razor, the number 2, which is the Kayak, the number 3, which is the Whittler. If I'm not mistaken, they do have a number 4 coming very soon. I'm kind of anxious to see that one, get it in hand. Let me know what you guys think. Fantastic new offering from Rough Ryder. This is the RRR, the Rough Ryder Reserve. Check them out. Still totally available at Blade HQ. Again, pricing $39.99, $49.99, $59.99. Anyhow, that's all I got for you today, folks. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment because I love the feedback. And until next time, take care.